Imagine having two personalities and you're dating each other. Welcome in, Two Souls, One Bod. And apparently if they switch too fast, they start glitching. Like, bro, here we got lag.
What's done to you? Making me... We almost glitched. Okay, don't. We're the people who are still alive.
Apparently those glitches are supposed to be Tourette's tics. I'm really gonna take this on a limb here, but I do think that some people with tic disorders might have some thoughts about that. So they're in love, and they also have described their relationship as kind of father-daughter.
At this point, it's like he's a brother, father, but at the same time, neither of those things technically or legally. And he's also like my boyfriend.
Which, yeah, let's just all sit here with that for a second. And yes, they did kiss on camera. But don't worry, you guys, I'm really not gonna subject you to that again. Except, like, maybe just, like, one clip. Okay, so that's plenty. That's more than enough, actually. So this is my official apology to literally anyone watching this video. But this account did blow up when they would post videos of them rapidly switching personalities on camera.
I don't know, how do we switch so quickly? Oh, we almost glitched. Yeah, I felt that. Let's do that.
Finish each other's sentences, talk about their life with dissociative identity disorder like it's some kind of superpower that they have learned to master. They claim to have dissociative identity disorder, or DID, which is like, thank God, right? I mean, we need more people out there talking about the disorder instead of stigmatizing it. And then what's this? Their content went massively viral, but it also sparked a little bit of controversy, with many people accusing them of spreading misinformation and treating a trauma-based disorder like, a party trick. Before we start, if you enjoyed the video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe because I need witnesses. Question, what happens if you both leave the body?
Well, let's find out. Oh, dude. Don't. Well, you wanted to know.
So let's talk about that. So quick context, if DID lore is not your specialty, there's a few really interesting things going on in this clip. For example, switching in DID generally means one alternate state steps back and another comes forward. It's generally not two personalities having a conversation together like they're sharing a podcast. And in real life, it's a little bit more subtle. A lot of people will describe, if you notice anything, kind of spacing out for a moment or dissociating, which is that weird mental disconnect where things might feel fuzzy or like you're not totally there. Which is why this whole switching on command thing made my brain go, hold on a moment. This reminds me of the Sprite system. If you know, you know.
Guess the player.
I mean, personally, if I were to try to convince the internet that I had DID, I probably wouldn't start it with dropping unconscious on camera. But TwoSoulsOneBod has a different strategy because they decided to demonstrate on camera.
Okay, James, how do we prove that we're two people in one body? Well, I mean, I don't think we really have to prove it. Okay. Why not? Because it's obvious, Jesse. It's obvious.
Now, I'm gonna say something controversial here, but historically, right, the internet has been known for lying about things for clout.
What more do they need? Well, I don't know. Like, I feel like they need to see the eyes rolling in the back of the head. Okay, well, it's not like that for us. We can just instantaneously switch. I know, dude, but like, let's humor them, right? Like, they need to be convinced. Okay. They're on the internet, they're browsing, they're like, they want to know. Okay, that's, first of all, inappropriate. Okay. Sorry.
Oh no, you guys, I see what's going on here. It's a simple mistake, have confused DID with The Exorcist. It's not totally out of the realm of possibilities, but I don't think I've ever heard of someone's eyes rolling to the back of their head while switching. I mean, never say never. Like, if this is your experience, I sincerely apologize. But it's also not exactly the most standard operating procedure.
Second of all right, it's, I don't think we don't do the eye thing. Well, let's try. Let's rapid switch. Okay, but that sometimes glitches us out. I know it's a little scary, but then it frees up the circuits, you know? It doesn't free up the circuits, but we'll do it. All right, here we go. I'm bringing it in. That's close enough, dude. They're gonna see my pores. Okay. All right, you ready? Yeah, I'm ready. Let's do it. Okay, ready? Here we go. Rapid switching. Me. All right, that was an error. Okay, let's not glitch. Let's not glitch out anymore. Okay, that's fair.
This feels like eerily deliberate. They literally say, let's rapid switch, like they're about to start a demonstration, and they do not disappoint. And then they go, me, like they're flipping on and off a damn light switch. And when it stops, they call it an error. Like, bro, straight up just crashed Windows 98.
Yeah, it's awful. Okay. All right, but I feel a little bit more secure in the body. Okay, so do I. Feels like it kind of helps. We shouldn't use glitching like stretching. I know, dude, but like, it's neat. It's kind of neat. It's a little existentially terrifying. A little bit, dude. Let's not glitch ourselves out. All right, let's have a good night. All right.
You know what? Would also, I think, prevent glitching? Not forcing yourself to switch on camera. But wait, it actually gets better. Don't worry, guys, because this was all taken when they were in the process of getting diagnosed with DID. Someone asked, why do you use every DID tag when you say you don't have DID?
Because I'm currently going through the process of getting diagnosed with DID. So that's right. What you see here on this TikTok is a DID journey. And I'm going to keep you guys updated with every doctor's appointment, with every single thing that's said or discussed. I mean, obviously, I have to keep some things private.
The first thing that jumps out to me is how certain they are that what they're experiencing is DID. I mean, that is interesting, right? Because, I don't know, the doctor part hasn't exactly happened yet. We've already skipped past, like, maybe I'm dealing with, like, a dissociative disorder and went straight into, this is my DID journey. I mean, that's a pretty specific conclusion to jump to when the whole point of the process is to find out what's really going on. And the way they describe their DID kind of comes off like it's a gift, like, it doesn't really disrupt my life, which is a little bit wild because, I don't know, DID is normally understood as a trauma response, something that forms in childhood when the brain is trying to survive severe and repeated trauma. So hearing it described like this quirky brain upgrade is a little bit confusing because, right, DID is not a personality expansion pack. Obviously, you don't have to be miserable 24/7 in order to have the disorder. But a lot of people would probably not choose to go through this whole evaluation process unless there's like at least some kind of disruption in their life.
But this is going to be an open sort of take my personal life, splat it out there, and you guys will be able to follow along and see what it's like to get diagnosed with DID.
And why didn't you say this last month?
Well, I want to make sure that I had all my ducks in a row. I want to make sure that the appointments were set, the insurance would go through, and that everything was in order before going public with it.
Oh, that was very smart of you.
Yes. Even though I took a little bit of heat from it, and people were like questioning.
Alright, but you ultimately...
Yeah, I ultimately had a plan.
All right, boys, the insurance is clear. The storyline is ready. So what they're referring to there is the absolute massive number of people in their comments being like, so hey, that's really just not how DID works. Which makes sense because they're already posting as a DID system, hashtagging their videos, hashtag DID talk, hashtag DID system, despite not having the diagnosis yet.
Now, I personally find this to be sort of, if it weren't for TikTok, I probably wouldn't go through these steps because I have a wonderful life with you and I don't feel the need to be diagnosed. And I think that's how it is for a lot of people with DID because it's, one, expensive, two, it's very time consuming, and depending on where you live, it can take years to get diagnosed.
Okay, so some people don't want a formal diagnosis. There's stigma. In the US, it goes on your medical record forever. And sometimes treatment doesn't even require a label. But I wouldn't say it is the most common for someone to just skip over that diagnosis altogether because their life is amazing and like, nothing in my life is really wrong. Which is interesting because they're just like, if TikTok didn't exist, I probably wouldn't bother getting evaluated anyway.
And I don't know how long my journey will take. All I know is that I'm on it. So these tags belong to me, they belong to the DID community, and we are your brothers and sisters if you belong to the DID community, and we're going through this, like, officially, as a DID diagnosis story.
And what if we get to the end and they say, no, that's not what this is?
Well, then that's what it is. We don't care. Because ultimately, we're scientists and we search for the truth.
Isn't it called dissociative identity disorder? Before therapy or healing, it can actually be a little bit confusing and, to put this very lightly, just a little bit scary. Everyone's experience is different, but a lot of people have described like feeling disconnected from yourself. Like sometimes your memories and your emotions might not perfectly line up. Sometimes it can feel like something else is in control, or like you're noticing thoughts or behaviors that don't really seem like yours. You might find that you've bought something or that there's like notes around the house and you're just like, when did I do that? For example, Multiplicity in Me has talked about losing time or not remembering things that have already happened.
I felt like I was being puppeted, that these thoughts were being implanted in my head.
I would find myself in places that I couldn't remember getting to.
I had that feeling that someone was present with me, that there was someone in my periphery.
Everything that I'd ever been through was on that page. Everything on that page was me.
So yeah, this is the reality for some people. And then you open up TikTok and you see this.
All right, James, yeah, what's up? Tell them what we've done. Okay, so we've eliminated hunger.
Yeah. Okay, what does that mean?
It means that we've learned how to hack the brain and we've just eliminated it.
Okay, how have we done that? Tell them.
Well, basically, we threw the stomach into the void.
Okay. Can we explain it another way?
Yeah, so basically we both reduce our presence. Wow, this hair.
I know, just forget it.
All right, so we've reduced both of our presence in the stomach, and we've basically voided the stomach.
Right. So what does that mean?
It means we're not hungry anymore.
So yeah, that was really my bad. I thought that DID was a dissociative disorder. I hadn't understood before that it is a customizable superpower. Hunger, DID or not, isn't exactly something you can just uninstall. What is plausible, I guess, is some alters might ignore it. Others might not feel it as much. Or they feel disconnected from their body, especially if there's dissociation involved. This is the closest I can come to entertaining this being a reality rather than a Black Mirror episode. I guess it's kind of like how some people without DID will have different appetites, different hunger signals. Some people are super in tune with their hunger, and other people, well, they forget to eat and then they're like, oh shoot, why am I shaking? With DID, that difference can show up in different parts, usually just because they have different priorities or focus or emotional states. It's like if someone grew up in an environment where needs didn't feel safe to express, or things were really chaotic, hunger might not be the top priority for some parts. Other parts can come out specifically during stressful moments, so they're really just focused on keeping us functional. And then of course we have Jesse and James. They just are built different because they're like, listen, 3, 2, 1. I'm hungry again. It's a completely different situation than just like opening up your brain setting and deleting the feature.
And how much weight have I lost? You've lost 20 pounds. But it's not new. No, we're just now on manual mode and we can choose when to eat. Exactly. We still have to get all of our nutrition. We still have to be careful, and we have to be really careful because everything's on manual now. Yeah. But we don't feel hunger anymore. Well, we can choose to. Yeah, we can choose to. Go ahead. Go into the stomach. Oh, dude, I don't want to. I don't, but you have to. Okay. Okay. All right, that sucks. Okay. Oh, you're really feeling it. Yeah, I'm really feeling it. Sucks, dude. Dude, I am so hungry. Oh my God. Oh my God, I'm so hungry. Oh my God, I just want to order food. Please, can we order food? What kind of food do you want? Oh, dude, I could totally go for like peanut sauce with rice. Oh my fucking God. All right. Switch out. Okay.
Okay, at this point, that sliver of me who was like, I don't know, maybe they are being genuine, she's out the door. And if you're curious, the part I'm alluding to specifically is we're on manual mode now. We can choose when to eat. That did it for me. Now, if they wanted to claim something like, listen, I don't have DID. I am the first case in the world of someone literally being 2 souls in one body. I feel like that would be less offensive, but the thing is, they're claiming to have DID. A lot of people watching this video probably experience some level of dissociation. Now I'm gonna need a show of hands here. Who wishes they could control it with a frickin' menu setting? It's how instant and intentional it is. Like, everything is perfectly timed, perfectly coordinated. Like, a lot of the time, DID is not that clean. It can be actually a little messy and inconsistent.
Now my turn. All right, go ahead. Oh, I don't want to do it. I know, it sucks. All right, go for it. Oh, wait, yeah, you go in now. Dude, all right, let's do it. We're coordinating. Yeah, we're trying to it's like playing Twister. Oh, dude. I want some Domino's. No, we're not getting Domino's. Dude, please. Cheesy bread. Please. Oh no, cheesy bread. We don't have money for cheesy bread.
So even hypothetically, I really wouldn't wait until that point to turn on your hunger signals again. Now let's all for a moment now imagine our favorite fast food. You know how it just really hits different when you're really hungry? That's what this looks like. I mean, controlling hunger in general, I don't know if that's typical for DID, and certainly neither is controlling switches, at least to this extent. Okay, someone with DID might try to bring another part forward if, I don't know, like, if things are overwhelming. For example, one part might be panicking and they feel like, I know Jeff would handle this really well. Of course, it can be easier with therapy, but then we have Jesse and James and they're like, okay, your turn, my turn. Okay, ready? Go. I mean, that's a lot of control and awareness. Also, especially early in recovery, like, switching isn't something that you really want to mess with. It's not fun. Like, it can be disorienting, confusing. You get memory gaps, emotions bleeding through. It's not some swift handoff like your divorced parents when you were a kid meeting halfway to drop you off. And sometimes it does involve dissociation, right? Something that is usually, we try to reduce that, not control it like a feature. Like, I don't know how it would work if you have been in therapy for a very long time and you have great communication. Could you just call up any alter and be like, listen, I need your opinion on this? Maybe, but especially early on, it happens because something is overwhelming. Not because someone else was just like, all right, It's my turn. It's taco night. But with TwoSoulsOneBod, hunger is optional now. Let's finish this clip as quickly as possible.
So what's the proof? Oh yeah, the proof is in the pants. It's in the pants? I thought it was in the pudding. No, it's in the pants. Check it out. These were skinny jeans. I know, you've lost 20 pounds. But we're trying to be careful. We don't want to, like, break anything. Well, should we tell them how to do it? Well, I mean, we could hurt people. Right. We don't want to, like, hurt anyone. So, yeah, just a quirk that we figured out. Because we're hacking the brain. Yeah, because we can see how the brain works, and then we can just move around it. Yeah. So we can basically do whatever the fuck we want. Right. And so we've taken this on manual mode. Yeah, manual hunger. Like it.
Okay, wait, before this gets worse, this is kind of insane. I tried this app like a week ago just to test it for a sponsor, and I already cashed out. Like, I didn't actually think it would work like that. So this app is called Free Cash. Basically, you could just pick from offers like games, surveys, just random stuff. I've been doing this one, and it literally tells you how much you get from every step. You do actually have to complete tasks. It's not passive, but if you're already on your phone anyway, it is pretty easy to stack. And if you do in-app purchases in some of the games, it can help you progress faster. And free cash rewards that too. Just make sure app tracking is on so it actually counts. This is how much I've made so far. I wanted to test it out before talking about it. And you can actually cash out with real money. PayPal, gift cards, just all that. The minimum is like $25, which is lower than a lot of apps. And once you hit that, it's pretty straightforward. I just used PayPal and it was actually pretty fast. It's got a ton of reviews and good ratings on Trustpilot. Obviously, this isn't like a job or anything, but if you're already playing games and doing stuff on your phone, you might as well get something out of it. If you want to try it, sign up on Free Cash using my QR code, or the link is in the description and the pinned comments, and you will get a $10 bonus after completing your first offer. You know, I do have to give them this. I really appreciate them not giving us advice on how to turn our brain into Ozempic mode. That is so considerate of them, but it's no, like they've tried to teach us stuff like that before. Like basically they say that they have mastered their DID and they can teach you how to do it too. And if someone actually believes this, and I mean they might, because it is tagged #DID system, that's where it becomes a problem, because you're gonna have someone who's like, oh, well that's weird because I have actually been in therapy for years, working through trauma memories. I'm really working at communicating with my parts. But half of them still don't trust me or even know me. I must be doing something wrong because we got TwoSoulsOneBod over here. It looks so easy for them, I surely must have missed the tutorial. There is no time limit for healing in DID, but it can be quite insulting also. Like, I know you're dealing with PTSD symptoms and memory gaps and confusion, but good news, guys, because I found out how to optimize it. And God bless anyone who tries to follow that, like forcing a switch or trying to turn off hunger because they saw it on TikTok. Realistically, I think a lot of people with DID, OSDD watching TwoSoulsOneBod, I don't think a lot of them are watching it and they're just like, oh no, that tracks. But younger people on TikTok, they're the ones taking notes. And now there are people to this day walking around thinking that this is what DID looks like because their entire research was one scroll on their For You page. Now, I'm not even gonna explain this one, you're just gonna have to watch. Someone said, can I ask why you look away from the camera? Like, James always looks away.
So what are we looking at?
Oh, you mean like when we're talking right now?
Yes, what are we looking at?
I'm looking at you.
And I'm looking at you.
Well, are we looking in a mirror?
No, we're literally just looking at the ceiling. There's nothing up there. Yeah, see? Nothing.
Yeah, there's nothing up there. Why?
Okay, because when we switch, the other person takes over the imagination and projects themselves, like AR, out into the real world.
Right, and we do it, boom, instantly.
Yeah, so we just keep swapping places.
Apparently, I was being too kind in my last video, so let me fix that. I don't think they have DID. I think it is way more likely a performance, or there's also the chance that they genuinely believe or are two souls in one body. The reason I say performance is because of their history of scams and voice acting, but that's for a separate video. Right now, two souls literally sharing one body somehow seems like the most realistic option. You know it's bad when you're describing your disorder like it is a Skyrim spawn. But no, let's entertain this as we do on the show. People with DID do talk about internal stuff. Not everyone, but some people can communicate with alters in their mind or have kind of an inner world. To be fair, some people with DID do have very vivid internal imagery, but probably not to the extent that you can literally see an altar standing in the corner. I'm gonna be generous here. Maybe they're talking about it like maybe it's a visual hallucination. But that's also fine, cause DID is a dissociative disorder and not a psychotic disorder. I scoured the internet and I found this article from Queen's University, Belfast, and it actually says that you can have hallucinations when you have DID. It's just rare. It's usually tied to dissociation, where the brain disconnects and kind of creates these sensory experiences, like hearing or seeing things. But okay, we did take that into an account, and I just feel like that's still not what we're looking at here.
And so we actually can see each other. And we also don't even need to see each other, because we can feel each other when we pass through. So when I come in to take control,
see, his hand is here, so I can sort of see and visualize his body. Now, the reason we do it over here and not here is because that would mean the camera would be in the way, and that'd be like a video game that's,
you know, when the characters get stuck in the floor and it's like,
yeah, like Skyrim.
Yeah, like Skyrim.
Oh, okay, so now we're legit bringing up the video games. Me, when I eject a VR consciousness of myself and call it DID. And the way they explain it is also like we project ourselves in real life using our imagination. That does sound really cool for about like 2 seconds, because then you have your first thought about it. Wait, how are we rendering imagination into a physical space right now? And it's being described like a feature. It's like something you could turn on. And then they start talking about how much they've missed each other because, you know, James had been dormant for a really long time. And now, but don't worry, cause now he's back, just in time to start a TikTok with Jesse.
Remember when we played Skyrim?
I know. There's so much I want to talk to you about.
I know, babe.
Like all those years.
I know.
We did everything in Skyrim together. And it's so funny to talk to you about it.
Because I know, because it's like we're actually talking
To the person we played the game with.
Oh, gosh. You're my Serana.
And you're my Dragonborn.
Okay.
And I'm also your Dragonborn.
No, that's very true.
And you're also my Serana.
Oh, wow. That's weird. But it makes sense.
Yeah, it does.
I'm a little vampire.
Yeah, you're a little something. You're a mythological creature.
Yeah, for sure. At least undead.
Yeah, you're undead, dude.
Oh my god, I'm undead.
That's so cool.
Yeah, because I died and then
Yeah.
Whoa, holy shit.
Yeah, you're undead, dude.
Wow.
No, it's wow.
I mean, if I was reconnecting with a long lost friend, I don't know if I'd just be filming it like, hey guys, so this is our really quick catch up. I'm sorry, I cannot get over the seamless switching while they're calling each other pet names. This is making me existential. Like, we're in a reality right now, right? And you are perceiving me. You were doing something before this, and you will do something after this, but together, in this moment, we're watching someone flirt with themselves. Okay, to be fair, rapid switching can happen in DID. However, I don't know that I've really heard anyone explain it as like this fun little bonding experience. Like, rapid switching usually happens when the brain is trying to deal with something like stress or triggers or internal conflict, or things just not being stable. A lot of people describe rapid switching as confusing, like something feels off. Your identity can kind of get blurry or you'll feel out of it. Not everyone, but some people can get to the point where like they have different blood pressure while switching. Some people even get nosebleeds. So it's not just like this cute handoff in every scenario. It's more like, okay, I can't stay present. Things feel like they're overlapping. I feel off. Not exactly. So James, you ever fix that sleeping schedule of yours, or are you still ordering Taco Bell at 2 a.m., you scallywag? Okay. Even if you have been in therapy for years, this is still not what DID turns into. Two common goals with DID are what's sometimes called final fusion or functional multiplicity. Functional multiplicity is when the parts or alters are still there. However, they're working together, they have really good communication, and things are more or less stable. Final fusion is essentially when all parts fuse into one singular identity. But you guys don't have to worry about that because Jesse and James are not leaving us in the dark about how to master your DID.
Okay, so what do you think about positive system reinforcement? Okay, is that something you just made up? Yes, it is. What is it? Okay, positive system reinforcement is where you just love the shit out of your system and you learn to be a family and you do amazing things together.
Okay, no, I can get behind being kind to your system. That is actually something a lot of people work towards. But also, this just kind of glosses over why parts might not get along in the first place. What's that? You don't feel safe with your parts yet? I don't understand. I mean, you just need to be happy and love them. It is not out of the realm of possibilities for parts to be more harmonious earlier on, but there's, I mean, usually at least like, I don't know, a smidge of conflict or distrust. Like, damn, most people get into fights with the ones they love. Like even, what is it, 51% of people end up getting a divorce? But this is not someone external. No, this is someone that you share a mind with. Some might feel anger towards other parts, fear, jealousy, blame. One part might feel responsible for holding trauma memories, and another part they might feel resentful towards because they're like, and then you just live day-to-day life. You get to go out and have friends. Meanwhile, I come in during the anxiety attacks. That's just a really random example, but according to Jesse and James, no fear, because what you need to do is go to the amusement park together.
Like, we can go to an amusement park together. Yes, we could go to an amusement park together. I would very much like to do that. In fact, that's what I got you for your birthday. Oh, dude. I know. Which is today. December 12th. Now, like, oh, dude, your cake. I know. Well, do you want to do it now? You're a little hungry and you need your meds. Okay. Dude, you're so daddying me today. I know, I am. It's your special day. I've got to be like, it's hard for me not to be. Okay. That's going to confuse people. It will.
Why are people paying for therapy when they can just watch TikToks like this? I mean, I am a little bit confused, but that's mainly because I thought that they said, so Jessie is James's girlfriend, but also kind of like his daughter? So, like, are we talking about daddy or like daddy? Because in this situation, it could really go either way. Like, just to be clear, if you have DID and you want to make a cake for your altar, that can be very wholesome if you've gotten to that point. Now, if you've been in therapy or you just have better communication with parts, this might apply to you. But lest we forget the work it took to get there. Hey, so I have a question. So I tried what you said, but some of my parts are actually holding the trauma that caused the DID and the amnesic walls in the first place. And like every time I try to communicate, trauma memories bleed through and I just have a flashback. No, but seriously, alters didn't form to be best friends. They formed to handle traumatic things. With DID, it's not uncommon for parts to take on different roles. They don't always want the same thing either, right? Like they could have different ages or beliefs or just reactions to literally anything. One part might want to deal with something head on, and another part is like, no, absolutely not. We are never touching that ever. So yeah, like I can entertain how things might not always run super smoothly. You can have one part who really, really wants to go to therapy and another part who is fighting it the whole time. So yeah, enjoy that cancellation fee that your insurance doesn't cover. Some parts have a goal of like, okay, we need to stay safe, but the way they do it can end up looking like shutting down emotions or pushing people away or messing up relationships just to avoid anything that feels unsafe. Some people have alters where their entire job is basically just stay guarded. Don't trust anyone. Avoid literally anything vulnerable. So if things suddenly get, super open and emotional, that part might be freaking out. They might start shutting things down or causing more conflict, and now everyone is just more anxious. Also, what if someone with DID watches this and they're like, hold on, why am I not like that? Why isn't my DID like that? Like, is there something wrong with me? Okay, like, DID absolutely looks different for everyone, sure. But also, remember when Jesse and James were just flexing and rapid switching and then they just glitched?
We almost glitched. Okay, don't.
I know you were curious about that one, so here is that explanation.
All right, Jess, what does glitching actually feel like? It feels like putting a microphone up to a speaker. Yeah, it's a feedback loop. Yeah, it's like a feedback loop. And another way to describe it is it's what like severe autism is. Okay, wait.
What do they mean by feedback loop? Like, are they talking about sensory overload? Because like I could kind of see that, like things getting overwhelming, just stacking up. Your brain just not liking what's happening. Okay, let's go with that for a second. And then it just loses me.
Okay, how? Okay, so this brain's autistic. And when we were in denial, like for months and months, right? You brought me back from the dead. Right, exactly. You're not a zombie, dude. Okay, a little bit. No, don't be a zombie. All right, look.
If you missed it, they put a text on screen that said, Jesse hacked James out of potential permanent dormancy. It does sound very dramatized, like storytelling or maybe gaming language. They do use a lot of techie terms to describe what's going on inside their head, which is fine, but it's also like the brain is biological and messy and not really like these clean like ones and zeros. People with DID can't exactly use code to access controls to hack alters. I really wouldn't say that they're like these separate apps that you can launch or terminate. Like, okay, if one part does help another come back, it's not a hacking situation. It's usually more indirect, like thinking about them or something triggering them or things feeling just safer. And even then, it's not fully controlled. It's pretty inconsistent. So today, I'm not even gonna get into the whole, this alter could have been dormant forever thing. Maybe I'm wrong here, but I really could not find any source saying that alters can be dormant like forever. Anyways, let's hear about this whole glitching thing they've got going on.
Oh yeah, so when we were in denial, we were both trying to occupy the front at the same time, like full body front. And actually, it doubled our sensory input. It did. And it caused a feedback loop in the brain. And so we were constantly ticking and constantly glitching out. It was just like never ending. And we had to rock and we had to stim. And I had never stimmed in all my life. Neither had I. Like, I have never stimmed and I've never rocked and I've never had tics. Right. But it wasn't until we realized that we were both trying to occupy the whole body, Right. And as soon as we separated, like the tics and the rocking and the stimming stopped. Right.
Now at this point, I just gotta be confused, because are they saying that they developed both Tourette's and autism when James came out of dormancy? They're like, oh, well, we have these tics because we have Tourette's, and that also makes me confused because having tics does not automatically equal Tourette's. Tics can actually show up in a lot of different things. They're not a Tourette's exclusive. But no worries, you guys, because they then just decided to stop. And of course, then the tics and the sensory overload also just stopped. So they cured their Tourette's? Okay, but let's give them this. Confusion, overstimulation, just like things getting a little bit weird when parts are co-conscious, okay. But with no other symptoms, and then it's cured when they stop, does that qualify as autism? And then they say, well, no, we do have autism, and they backtrack to saying, oh no, those were just symptoms of autism. Those are completely different. Friends, this is why we don't self-diagnose ourselves so fast.
We went from basically having like debilitatingly severe autism, or at least symptoms of it. Right. Because it's all kind of connected in the same way. Everything's kind of connected. It's all running on like the same operating system. Well, don't get into that. Yeah, I know. They're not ready to realize that they're being simulated. I know, that's going to be weird. Don't tell them about that. That's going to freak them out. I know. Well, I mean, when you have two consciousnesses in one brain, you learn a lot. Yeah, you do learn a lot. I don't know if humanity's ready for that. Stop.
Okay, here's my thing though. DID isn't literally multiple consciousnesses in one brain. It's more like one brain, one that developed into multiple identity states or parts. Not separate, fully independent consciousnesses, just like they're coexisting in there. Say it with me. DID is one person with dissociated identity states. However, it can look and feel like multiple independent consciousnesses. And then we take a far left turn into the simulation theory, and nothing is really real. If they literally believe that they are actually two consciousnesses in one brain, that runs into territory that isn't DID. And if you pause the screen there real quick, it says, singlets, you're a system, plurals. Actually, you are. First of all, that phrasing, like singlets versus plurals, isn't how every single clinician is going to talk about it. That's more like Tumblr, TikTok, Discord language. But it is still valid, and that's not what we're getting at. But I'm not gonna lie, my brain is simply not on a high enough level yet to understand fully what they are saying. But I think what they're getting at is the idea that we are in a simulation. And if you've got the right coding, your brain can maybe access multiple consciousnesses. Which, okay, wait, so if that's what they're gonna say, and then also claim to have DID, wouldn't that kind of mean like, in their logic, DID isn't even a mental disorder? Because DID isn't multiple people, it's a dissociative disorder.
All right, what else? It's extremely painful, and so painful. So what is a tic, right? It's trying to like stop the air. It's like dude, this is your realm. All right, could like a control alt delete. Yeah, well, but not a restart. No, but it's like trying to shut the task down. It's trying to break it apart, right? It's the brain's way of basically trying to stop whatever's causing pain and causing an error. Oh, sometimes we do the error thing. Yeah, the error thing's creepy. Okay. Yeah, that's creepy. Yeah, the brain can actually like talk, but it's not an alter. I know, because that's like what a tic is, right? It's the brain's way of like trying to automatically shut down a feedback loop. Exactly. Dude, we got this.
All right, now I'm about to Control-Alt-Delete this video. No, but the fact that they filmed this in one go it's impressive. All right, let's give them this. The way they're describing tics, I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, is kind of accurate. Like, you know, that urge before it happens? But that is all the praises I have for this one, because then it goes off the rails. Tics aren't your brain consciously shutting something down or anything. They're just involuntary. And then they say, the brain is talking. I mean, that's not an alter. It's like, I'm gonna be honest, I don't know what that means. Tics are not equal to the brain talking. Then they have this text on screen that says, brain has thrown an exception. Error, out of space, edge. Internal error, too much recursion, Firefox. Range error, maximum call stack size exceeded, Chrome. Okay, let's be fair here. James does do programming, so I understand why everything sounds like a computer having a breakdown. But let's translate this real quick, like, out of Google Chrome. I think they're basically just trying to explain, like, the error equals the buildup of tics, and the maximum call stack size exceeded is like in DID when things get overwhelming. Dissociation, everything looks kind of blurry. Yeah, we're just gonna go with that. But they did lose me when they were like, okay, but the brain can vocalize in the same way that a tic can be vocalized. Like, at that point, I'm done. So after that, the comments were really supportive. No, they were like, hey, so what the hell is this? And this was their response.
Oh my god, we're fake? Yeah, they're telling us we're fake, that this isn't how any of it works. I mean, like, but it's did, right? They're saying no, it's not how any of it. God. Oh my god, I'm back to the future. James? My man!
So I think the reason why a lot of people thought they were faking isn't just because it's like, haters being haters, you know? It could actually be that a lot of what they describe just doesn't really line up with DID, like at all. Just off the top of my head, I don't know, like, the switching is super fast and super controlled and happening on command. It's just like, you know, when you're playing a video game and you just, you can't decide what skin you want to use, so you just use both. Wait a second, because it's like, that's not even allowed in most video games. And then they also will make these absurd faces for shock value, and at that point, it's just like, wouldn't you want to applaud people for having media literacy and not immediately believing you? Like, yeah, okay, people are allowed to make jokes about their disorder online. But I would say there is a very fine line between that and acting like it's your Marvel origin story. You'd actually be surprised how many comments I get from people and they're like, nice try, Michelle, because my dad is a psychologist and DID isn't real. Which, first of all, okay, my bad, shout out to your dad. Okay, there is debate about DID, one of the reasons being how extreme it sounds, like literally separate identities in one brain. But this is where we get it wrong, and I know I already said this, but this is for Jesse and James. DID is not literally two souls in one body. It's one person whose survival response was to separate into multiple states to survive severe and repeated trauma. So no, that commenter's dad, it really isn't just two alters talking to each other on TikTok and flirting. But don't worry, you guys, because Jesse and James, they took time out of their very busy schedule and they cleared this all up for us.
Hi, just so you guys know. Yeah, dude, okay, all right, don't get upset. Look, here's the thing. They're not understanding anything that we're saying. This TikTok is not the right platform for having, like, scientific or, like, these kinds of discussions.
Yeah, no, I mean, they're right. They kind of just told on themselves a little bit. Like, TikTok could actually be a valid place to talk about the simulation theory or the idea of identities not exactly being fluid. But the issue is that they're calling it DID and Tourette's and autism.
Yeah, but this is how it should be because the users, everybody's using this. I know, but like it's supposed to be for girls doing sexy dances and making money off of it. I totally get that, all right? And that's, that's what TikTok is. I know. But I know you had higher hopes for the online DID community on TikTok. And while they overwhelmingly support us, there's a very vocal minority who are not watching our videos to comprehend. They're looking for things to attach onto and attack us with.
Oh, okay, no, I get it now. That was my bad. Their IQ is just simply too high for this app. I did forget, like, TikTok isn't built for this intellectual disclosure. So instead of people being confused or not agreeing or saying like, hey, so DID is really broad, but like this is pushing it, it's like, no. Everyone is just intentionally misunderstanding us. No, yeah, oh, that's probably the more likely option. It basically sets them up to be in this position where it's just like, I'm right, we're right. Everyone else, they're just either dumb or hostile. They're just mad probably because like someone cut them off in traffic or like the barista made them the wrong coffee this morning. A small minority are haters. Okay, I'd love to hear from anyone with like a dissociative disorder, because otherwise I would say that the people either didn't know anything about DID or they're 12.
And now we have to be careful about everything we say because they'll latch onto it. Right, because you can't, yeah, I know. It's like we have to start filtering. I know, and that's awful. Because I hate it when, it's like we have to mask on TikTok. That's a lot of fun. It sucks.
Now hold on just a minute there. This is masking? I'm very curious then at that point, what does it look like when you guys unmask? Sometimes in DID, alters will mask. Like, some alters will mask as the host, the person who's most commonly in the body. Sometimes it's to the point where others, unless you really, really know them, can't even tell. So maybe their definition of masking is just different though. That was my bad.
Yeah, guys, here's the thing. The current medical understanding of DID and definition of DID is sort of like how they didn't think autism was a spectrum, and they didn't think gender was a spectrum, and they didn't think sexuality was a spectrum. The brain is a spectrum. I don't know if you guys know this, but the brain, it's a spectrum. So the entire idea that there's a set definition as to what something is in the brain is incorrect. So if we don't fit your exact definition or what you think DID is, okay? Holy shit, girl, you're a little fired up. Can you just chill out?
So, like, DID isn't a spectrum in the way that, like, everyone's a little plural. Maybe I think the spectrum is more about how different it can look depending on the person. Like, as in parts, awareness, switching, memory gaps. Like, if someone doesn't meet the full criteria for DID, there's a chance they might be diagnosed with OSDD, which is other specified dissociative disorder, where a person still experiences high levels of dissociation, but will sometimes have identity states that has like little or even no amnesia between them. Sometimes these identities or switching between identities is less clearly defined, but because DID is very clearly defined in the DSM-5. Just a few are the presence of 2 or more distinct identity states, which, all right, Jesse and James, I'm gonna give that one to you. Recurrent gaps in memory and distress and impairment. So when you say there's no set definition, it's like, there kinda is. Clinicians do use that criteria to study DID and also diagnose it. Let's take this a step further and talk about the theory of structural dissociation. It suggests that when someone goes through a lot of early and repeated childhood trauma, one sense of self doesn't really form. It can split off into parts that handle different stuff. Like, you might have one part living a daily life. Or they might have different jobs, for example, holding stress responses or trauma. Primary and secondary is where things where post-traumatic stress disorder and borderline personality disorder, etc. come in. And in more extreme cases of dissociation, you can end up with something called DID, where those parts are separated into what some people call alternative states, alters. So does that mean that people with PTSD and BPD have alters? No.
I know, dude, but like, they're accusing me of being 13 years old when I'm not 13 years old. I'm 35. I have a fully developed prefrontal cortex. I know. But see, that's what they want. They want to see you angry. They want that drama. And you're just giving it to them. I know. It's just like, dude, I wanted to share our life together. Do you know what I mean? Like, I wanted this to be like a fun thing and a positive thing. But they're so hyped up about trauma and being like having people with this condition to go hide off in a corner somewhere and just obsess about their trauma. Yeah, I agree. It's completely stupid and infuriating. Because there is life after trauma. I know there is. But they don't want to see that. They only want to see sick people. I know, dude.
I'm gonna have to agree with them on that. It's like, no, there is life after trauma. You shouldn't have to be reduced to what you've been through. But then, of course, there are a lot of people with DID who either don't share their struggles online or they've moved past a lot of them, and they still have a lot of supporters. So this is where I'm starting to feel like this is a little bit of a straw man. Like, most people are not saying
you need to go hide and suffer forever.
It's more like, hey, I don't know, this feels a little bit simplified or glamorized for something that's actually really, really hard, especially early in recovery. But then, of course, Jesse and James turns it into something way more extreme so that it's easier to argue against.
Misconception 1. I am not 13 years old. No, she's not 13. She's not 13 at all. No. My first memory that I remember ever having happened 13 years ago when this body was 22 years old. Yes, that's correct. But that does not mean I'm a 13-year-old. No, not at all. I have a fully developed prefrontal cortex. Ooh, very nice. I have a fully developed body. I've gone through puberty, and I've lived 5 years alone, on my own, without him. Yeah, no help from me at all. On my own for 5 years as a functioning, independent adult.
Okay, but they already described how, like, Jesse entered the body when Jesse was an infant and the body was 22, which already doesn't really line up with DID as it origins in childhood. And then he basically raised her in his head until she got a little older, and then he decided to go dormant. But I don't think it works that clearly in the way that, like, well, 13 years ago, this alter was 0, so now they must be 13. With DID, it doesn't always work that literally. It's not like a character aging system.
And as a businesswoman, she's run her own business for those 5 years. As a mother, she was engaged to somebody. I haven't really heard much of that story. Right, exactly. No, I am 100% 35 years old. That's right. Just because her first memory was 13 years ago does not make her a 13-year-old. No, it does not. All right, what's the second one? Second misconception, that we don't dissociate. We absolutely dissociate. We're dissociating right now. Okay, but they think that you're backtracking. Okay, no, I'm not backtracking. I'm just an idiot. Okay.
Is the dissociation in the room with us? No, I'm just kidding. Cause like dissociation doesn't need to be like this dramatic zoning out into space. Dissociation varies, but it can be just feeling detached, but you're still functioning. Sometimes you'll just feel a little bit off. Sometimes you'll feel like, is anything real? Other times you're just kind of on autopilot. But it is a little weird because they've never described any symptoms of dissociation before, and then suddenly when people called that out, they were like, oh no, we do experience dissociation. I mean, we're experiencing it right now. But then, of course, classic, they proceed to not describe that dissociation.
How are you an idiot? Well, I used the wrong words, which is why I took the video down. I fucked up. Look, I am not good at people, And sometimes I get like into the science and I'm trying to figure shit out, and I say something and then people think I'm invalidating. Right. And I'm trying to make sure that you don't, so you're the people person. Right. So yeah, that's how it goes. Yes. So no, we dissociate. All right, what's the other one? What's the other misconception? Oh, we don't have dissociative. I totally did it. Yeah, you totally did it. I just wiped your short term. Yep, you did.
Jesse, how are we gonna prove to them that we do experience dissociative amnesia? I know. Let's demonstrate it. So, I mean, dissociative amnesia isn't something you could really control like that. It's more like you have gaps in memory, not like, oh no, let me just delete that real quick. But this is gonna be the annoying part, because there is a version of that can be true. Sometimes parts can influence what is remembered, or what is shared, or who is fronting. Like, for example, one part might keep some memories kind of blocked off, especially if they're traumatic. Other parts might have access to certain memories and they can kind of share things in order to function day to day. But it's also not like flipping a switch, like, okay, forget this. It's not like clearing out your search history.
Hey man, you know Jeff, you know the host?
He has way too much audacity. He ate my leftover garlic butter shrimp lo mein. I mean, it's a little oily, but it's like, it hits at 1:30 a.m. But like, then I went to the fridge and it was gone, like Jeff, right? No man, I know it, but check this out. I'm gonna mess with him while he's at work. This is my best yet. I'm gonna make him completely forget to lower his landing gear. Bro, no, like, bro, he's a pilot.
So there you go. I wasn't sure if that was gonna work. It totally did. Okay. So yeah, that's the thing. And if we like walk down the road, we'll like skip through time because we won't know. Yeah, especially if you're hard void. Like I like got her a birthday cake and I got her like, you know, lit candles and stuff. And I like, you know, I wrote her nice notes. Yeah, we do stuff all the time for each other because the dissociative amnesia allows us to sort of like do things in secret from each other.
Oh God, so okay, it's not beyond the scope of reality that one alter can do this for another, but this makes it sound so intentional and way more coordinated than it normally is. Like, we'll skip through time. That sounds so like cutscene, fast travel, sci-fi energy. When in reality, it's more like, have you ever been driving home from work and what would the darndest thing, you can't remember the drive home? If you've ever experienced that, congratulations, because you have experienced a mild form of the mythical dissociation. I am actually interested because their amnesia is almost never inconvenient. Even the dormancy was treated like, oh no, that was James's choice. And for the bonus round, they discuss a criticism that people were like, okay, but you haven't experienced childhood trauma. I mean, that's important for the development of DID.
Okay, what's the final one that everybody's on about? Oh, childhood trauma. Yeah, I've childhood trauma. I was traumatized. I got help. I got therapy. I worked through it, and now I'm not. It's not an issue anymore. Right. So there you go. Yeah. So if we went to a doctor, will we get diagnosed with DID? Probably, most likely, absolutely. But to do that, it would take like a year or something to get diagnosed. So, I mean, you can wait, but we're going to keep making TikToks. So, yeah, misconceptions. There you go. This is how we'll do it from now on. Yep. There you go.
Oh, no, okay, I get it. So they just sorted through all their trauma and they are completely traumaless now. They just wrapped that up real quick. I love that for them. We're probably, I mean, most likely, we're definitely gonna get diagnosed with DID. So what is this? Like, I didn't know you're allowed to pre-order diagnoses. And they're saying that with full confidence, like before getting diagnosed. Like, some people, when going in for an assessment, might suspect DID. Other people might have absolutely no idea and still get diagnosed with DID. But with Jesse and James, we just skip straight to the conclusion. When in reality, the diagnostic process is very long and very cautious, ruling out a lot of other conditions. And then they're like, well, we're just gonna keep making videos anyway, which kind of gives like, we don't need professional validation. I'm not against people. I'm obviously like not your mom. I'm not against people who are self-diagnosed posting on social media. But it is also nuanced, right? Because it can turn into situations like Exhibit A here, where misinformation is being spread. It just feels to me, I don't know, like they're favoring content over clinical clarity. But I mean, whatever. Who needs doctors anyway? Because they can just explain it for you.
So just like you can have presence in say, an ear, okay? And we can have, like, you know, like she might be at 72. And, you know, what do you want to be at? I'll be like 69. Just a butt. Okay. We can do that in parts of the brain too. So inner space. So when you say, well, I'm going to go to inner space, right? What you're doing is you're reducing presence in all areas of the body and you're increasing presence in the imagination. Because see, like what's happening is in the brain, okay, which you don't like, it's simulated. So there's a copy of everything. Right, there's like a map almost inside the simulation, right, of every part of the body, including the brain. And you can move around in it.
I'm not gonna lie. What are we actually doing? I mean, like, I'm at 72% of the eyeballs, but really I'd prefer to be at 69, so let me just turn it down like a thermostat. Which is like, okay, if you have DID and you're co-conscious with another alter, you might not feel like you have full control. But hey, some people describe co-consciousness as like someone is in the driver's seat of the car, of the body, and another is in the passenger's seat. But it's usually not something that you can just turn down like a Spotify equalizer. It's just like you're co-conscious with another alter who really likes jazz music and you hate jazz music and you're just like, man, let me just turn that down real quick. If that were the case, I could only assume that you'd also get a notification that would be like, your system needs to restart and update. And then there's the whole inner space thing. It's like, you need to lower your presence in the body and then be higher in the imagination. Even if you reach perfect functional multiplicity, it's normally not like you get a full manual control of everything.
Yeah, so the idea that like there's a spot in the brain where the consciousness is stored is just bullshit. It's a computer. It's like saying, you know, where like a data, yeah, like where you're opening a file on and you're trying to like look into the computer. Right, that'd be stupid. You'd be like, oh, where's the file? Well, the file might be stored on like the hard drive, but it's also moving around and it's being, you know, processed if it's open and running. Exactly. So it's a computer, dude. Yeah, it's a computer. So here's the thing. So like even the eyeballs, right? Like you have presence in the eyeballs. So regularly, like we'll just swap in and out the presence with the eyeballs. But we can also do this. So like I'll increase presence to like 100% in the imagination. Right, and then I'll increase my percentage to 100% in the eyeballs, and then guess what? We can, like, make the other person hallucinate. Right. Boom! Or, like, she'll get stuck in memory lane thinking of memories. Well, I don't know. I'm jerking off. It's like, it's whatever. Or maybe you'll be thinking of TikToks while I'm trying to schlick. Right, I know. It's a problem. Right. So we can like just move around and do whatever and increase presence, right? So like we literally have the entire body and brain to work with. And so what we've done is we've just learned how to move around in the brain and the body super good and control our presence. And we still are working on it. It's a practiced art. Exactly. This is kind of gnarly. Yeah, it's cool, dude. Yeah, it's cool.
I'm really confused, actually, right now of what they're talking about. Is it in the way that, like, you're in your university class and you're like, God, this is so boring, but, like, we have a test, I have to pay attention, so let me just, like, be 20% here and 80% playing golf in my brain? I think what they're trying to say is, like, imagine yourself right now, if you close your eyes and imagine yourself at the best place ever, friggin' Disney World, and you really, really focus on it and you kind of enter this meditative state, your presence in the real world will become less. But dissociation is not necessarily something that can be super voluntarily controlled. A lot of people with DID will use metaphors to describe what's going on. I don't think that it's meant to be taken like this literally. Like here we've got files moving around, a map of the simulation, like we can navigate it. Like I'm gonna need to know what game we're playing. And then they continue, they're like, I can make the other person hallucinate. Oh, like, what? Like on command? Hold on, Jesse, don't worry, let me increase your hallucination settings really quick. There we go. And they describe their inner world like, oh, I could do whatever I want. They've described in the past, like, I built a mansion, but it was like boring, so I demolished it. I'm not gonna knock inner worlds. Like, some people with DID will have no inner world, while others will have very imaginative ones. But Jesse and James has straight up just unlocked full access mode. I guess that could make sense in DID, because it's like, we have one alter who's trying to concentrate on like homework, meanwhile the other one is plotting revenge on an enemy. Emotions, feelings, thoughts can kind of slip through depending on the person. Like, you really hate raisins, you know this about yourself, and then suddenly you're craving them. It's like, oh, okay, Jeff must be nearby. But then Jesse and James take it a step further and they're like, oh, well, we can control all of that. Cool. Something that might be a little more common in someone with DID rather than messing with others in the system by replaying annoying TikToks might be like someone who is fronting has an intrusive thought or a memory. Whereas Jesse and James has just complete control over everything, which is giving very creative mode on Minecraft. It is interesting how the main thing, the reason a lot of people think they're faking, is because they can both be present at the same time, which even if someone has perfect functional multiplicity, that's just not the case because the brain's processing capability is limited. Having multiple alters fronting at the same time would be a significant amount of mental energy. And the brain can only process so much before you are overwhelming the system. The brain does operate in a single-threaded way when it comes to being a conscious human. You know how some people are able to multitask easier than others? You're not actually multitasking, you're kind of switching really quick between tasks. That's why it wouldn't really be plausible for two alters to just have a conversation with each other at the same time. If you are co-conscious with another alter, they might be aware of what is happening, but they might not be fully present enough to engage at the same time and have a conversation with one another. Co-consciousness often looks like maybe one alter's fronting, another alter might be influencing thoughts, saying their opinions in thoughts, reacting or interrupting internally, and that's why it might feel like, oh, this alter Jeff is acting different. So think of it as instead of like two people are sharing a podcast together, it's more like we have one person who is the host of the podcast and another is kind of like feeding them lines, giving them the research or whatever. So that's why in other cases you might see someone with DID kind of talking to themselves because they can feel them there. It's not like, hey Jeff, what's up? Oh no, not much, Bob. But you might be wondering to yourself, Michelle, how did we get here? What is the backstory behind all of this? Well, don't worry, because we got a story. And it is very romantic, naturally.
I was in my ex-fiance's car at the time. I don't know where we were. We were driving through somewhere. And maybe like even in a drive-thru or something. And I want you to continue it.
Okay. And the song Fireflies by Owl City came on the radio. And I loved it for some reason.
Yeah, you just loved it.
And you could feel me.
Yes, I could feel you loving that song and being happy. And that was the first time I became aware of you. And I didn't know what you were.
Oh, I know.
But that was it. Like, that was the moment. That was like, had to be one of the first.
I don't want to nitpick, but I'm also like the nitpicking queen over here. So imagine this. You think that you are the only one inhabiting your body as one does. And then suddenly you can feel someone else enjoying a song in your head. I mean, okay, but before you knew you had DID, you wouldn't just be like, oh, cool, second person detected. Your thoughts might feel more like intrusive thoughts, or you might mistake them for your own thoughts. You might feel like, why did my mood shift so quickly? Why do I suddenly hate this food that I normally love? But okay, Jesse and James, they do walk it back and they're like, well, I didn't know it was you at the time. Okay, wait, so I'm confused. We're undoing that now? And then they just go right back to describing it like they're two separate people. Just they sensed each other's emotions. Don't worry, it was super clear.
And then I remember stuff like the downstairs of our old house. I remember
I remember like you washing your Legos in the washing machine.
Yeah, it was pretty cool, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was really cool.
And what else do you remember? Because I think I know.
Yes, you know a little bit, like the alarm. Or the fact that we played an emulated version of Conker's Bad Fur Day, and Link's Awakening was also...
Yeah, because I had like an emulator.
Yes.
But the first moment ever was Fireflies. And that is why your pet name that I have for you is Firefly.
I love you.
I love you too, Firefly. Alright, now they know.
Now they know.
My immediate thought when they were talking about the Lego and the video game stuff made me think like, oh, okay, so this happened when they were kids. But they don't really specify, and also no hate to anyone who plays video games or with Legos as adults, because like, same. But they did say before that Jesse came into the body when they were 22, so I am going to add that to my conspiracy board about them. Either way, it doesn't really sound like someone trying to piece together confusing memories. To me, it feels a lot more like two people telling a story together. Anyways, I feel like I just watched a storyline. Some of that made sense. Other parts felt like I accidentally opened a cut screen. So let me know what you think. Do you think Jesse and James has DID? Do you think they are genuinely two souls in one body? Or do you think they're putting that history of voice acting to use? Make sure to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, comment below, or I will add you to my conspiracy board. Also, make sure to comment below a crying emoji so that we can all mourn the last hour of our lives. Rest in peace. I'll see you guys in the next one. I love you guys, and peace out. The free cash link is in the description and the pinned comment if you want to try it out. And you get a $10 bonus after completing your first offer.